Hello and welcome to Learn and Talk English podcast. My name is Maria, and I am your guide and your friend on this journey. I have helped many English learners build confidence through listening, storytelling, and daily practice, and I am here to help you do the same. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered, how can I speak English fluently and confidently? Or, what is the best way to learn English quickly with real conversations? Maybe you have searched for a podcast to improve English speaking, or for spoken English learning videos that help. Well, you are in the right place. This is episode 37 of Learn and Talk English. It is a powerful podcast for English fluency. In this English learning podcast conversation episode, you will hear 3 true and inspiring stories. Each one shows how listening can help you grow, at work, in writing, and in daily life. First, you will meet David. He is nervous about a meeting at work, but he learns how listening carefully can change everything. Then, you will hear about Emily. She wants to apply for her dream job, but she does not know how to write a professional email in English. By listening to people at work and learning the phrases they use, she becomes more confident and gets the job. And finally, you will follow Ahmed. He moves to a new country with his family, and everyday life feels difficult. But by listening daily, at the bank, in the store, and at school, he slowly becomes confident, calm, and connected. Each story is followed by helpful vocabulary, daily use English sentences, and practical tips that you can start using today. So, if you are looking for a spoken English learning videos podcast, a podcast to improve your English, speaking, a daily English vocabulary booster, or a calm and clear learning English meditation podcast channel, this is for you. These stories are not just for listening. They are for learning. They are for practicing. And they are for building the skills you need to speak clearly and confidently, whether you are walking, cooking, relaxing, or studying. Stay with me until the end, because this episode will give you the tools you need to grow, one word at a time. I am Maria, and this is Learn and Talk English. Let us begin. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Learn and Talk English. I'm Maria, and I'm so glad you're here today. Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt nervous during a conversation? Not because you didn't know what to say, but because you didn't understand what they were saying. You're not alone. And guess what? That's okay. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful skills in English, listening. And I'll show you how it can change your English and your confidence. We'll hear 3 real stories about people like you, and after each one, I'll explain some useful vocabulary. Let's begin with our first story. David's first meeting. David had just moved to an English-speaking country. He got a new job and was really excited, but there was a problem. His English was very basic. He could say, "Hello, how are you?" and "Thank you." But real conversations? No way. He felt lost. People spoke too fast. They used words he had never heard in his English class. Then one day, his boss said, "David, we have a client meeting tomorrow. I want you to join us." David froze. What if I don't understand? What if they ask me a question and I say something wrong? But instead of panicking, David made a plan. That night, he listened to business conversations online. He wrote down useful phrases like, "Could you repeat that, please? Let me make sure I understand. What exactly do you mean?" And most important, he listened for the main ideas. Not every word, just the key points. The next day, David sat in the meeting. He didn't try to speak first. He just listened. He looked at people when they spoke. He nodded. He paid attention. And when he didn't understand, he asked politely, "Could you explain that another way?" After the meeting, his boss said, "David, great job. You listened carefully. You asked smart questions. Well done." That moment changed everything for him. David realized something important. Listening is not passive. It's a powerful communication skill. Vocabulary time. Let's review some important words from David's story. Attentive, Focused, listening carefully. David was very attentive during the meeting. Clarify, to make something clearer. Can you clarify what you mean by delivery time? Main ideas, the most important points. Even if you miss some words, try to get the main ideas. Take turns. Each person speaks one after another. It's polite to take turns in a meeting. Follow-up question. A question you ask after someone gives you information. He asked a good follow-up question to learn more. So, what can you learn from David? You don't need perfect English to be a great communicator. You just need to listen carefully, ask clearly, and stay calm. That's the first step to confidence. That's the first step to fluency. In the next part, I'll tell you about Emily. She used listening to improve her writing and got the job she really wanted. But before we move on, take a moment and think. What's one phrase you could use if you don't understand something in English? Got it? Great. Let's move on to the next story. Hi again. It's Maria. I'm so glad you're still here with me. Let me ask you something. Have you ever needed to write an important message in English, but you weren't sure how to start or how to sound polite and professional? Maybe you opened your computer and just stared at the screen not knowing what to write. That's exactly what happened to Emily. Emily is a smart and talented woman. She speaks English quite well in conversations, but when it comes to writing emails for work, she often feels unsure. One day, she saw a job posting that seemed perfect for her. It was in a company she had always admired. The job matched her skills exactly. She got excited. She wanted to apply right away. But then, she saw the application instructions. Send us a professional email with your CV and cover letter. Emily froze. She had never written a formal job email in English. She didn't want to sound too casual, or worse, make a mistake that might seem rude. At first, she looked online for examples, but the templates didn't feel natural to her. So she decided to do something smarter. She started listening. She paid close attention to how people wrote and spoke at work. She read the emails her coworkers sent. She noticed the phrases her boss used in meetings. And she even started watching YouTube videos of job interviews and business communication tips. Emily didn't copy anything exactly, but she listened for the tone, the structure, and the words people used when they were being formal and respectful. She noticed something important. Professional emails usually start with a polite greeting, like, "Dear Mr. Smith," or, "Good morning, I hope you're doing well." They don't use slang or shortcuts. They use full sentences and clear expressions, and at the end, they always include a polite closing, like, "Best regards," or, "Sincerely." She also saw how people introduced themselves briefly, explained why they were writing, and thanked the reader for their time. After a few days of focused listening, Emily started to feel more confident. She opened her computer. She wrote her message, step by step, and this time she didn't freeze. Her message was polite, clear, and professional. She introduced herself, explained her interest in the job, attached her documents, and thanked the company for the opportunity. A week later, she got an email back. They wanted to interview her. She felt proud, not just because she got the interview, but because she had done it on her own. By listening carefully and learning how English is really used, that's the power of listening. Let's take a moment now to review some helpful vocabulary and phrases from Emily's story. First, polite tone. A polite tone means you speak or write in a respectful, kind way. For example, instead of saying "I want this," you say "I would like to request this." Second, formal language. This is the style we use in professional or official settings. It avoids slang and uses full, clear sentences, like, "I am writing to express my interest in the position." Next, proofread. To proofread means to check your writing carefully for any mistakes. Emily always proofread her emails before sending them. Then we have Application. An application is the document or message you send when you want a job, school place, or even a visa. Emily sent her application by email. And finally, greeting and closing. These are the first and last parts of a message. For example, "Dear hiring manager" is a greeting. "Best regards" is a closing. When you listen to how others write and speak professionally, you learn what sounds natural, what shows respect, and what helps you make a good impression. So if you want to improve your writing in English, start by listening. Listen to how people speak in meetings. Listen to how they explain things clearly. Watch interviews. Read emails carefully. And then use those same expressions in your own writing. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to pay attention. That's how Emily did it. And you can too. Now, are you ready for our third and final story? Next, we'll hear about Ahmed, a father who moved to a new country and used listening to navigate his daily life and build confidence. Let's keep going. Welcome back. It's Maria again. So far, we've talked about David, who used listening to succeed at work, and Emily, who improved her writing and got the job she wanted. Now it's time for our final story. This one is about a man named Ahmed, and it's one of my favorites, because it shows how listening can help you feel at home in a new place, even when everything feels unfamiliar. Ahmed moved to Canada with his wife and 2 young children. He had studied English in school before, but once he arrived, he quickly realized something. Classroom English is not the same as real-life English. People spoke so fast. They used slang and local expressions. Sometimes they didn't pronounce every word clearly. And Ahmed often felt lost, even in simple conversations. He struggled when buying groceries, ordering food, or talking to his children's teachers. He wanted to speak, but he didn't always understand what others were saying. At first, he felt embarrassed. He worried people would judge him if he asked them to repeat something. So he stayed quiet. And that made him feel even more isolated. But then, one day at the bank, something changed. His wife asked him to go and open a new account. Ahmed was nervous. He knew the conversation would involve formal English, and he didn't want to make a mistake. But instead of worrying too much about what to say, he focused on listening. He paid attention to every word the bank clerk said, not just the words, but also the tone of voice, the pauses, the way she explained things step by step. When he didn't understand, he didn't pretend. He said, "I'm sorry. Could you repeat that more slowly?" Or, "I just want to be sure. You're asking if I want a savings account, right?" And the bank clerk smiled. She saw that Ahmed was trying. She appreciated his patience and his focus. By the end of the conversation, the account was open, and Ahmed walked out feeling proud. That day, he learned something powerful. Listening was not just about hearing the words. It was about understanding. It was about connecting. And so, he made a decision. From that day on, Ahmed decided to listen on purpose. He started listening everywhere. At the grocery store, on the bus, at his children's school, even in the park. He kept a small notebook with him. Whenever he heard a new phrase or a new word, he wrote it down. Later, he would look up the meaning and practice using it in his own sentences. Every day, his English improved. He started to understand not just what people said, but how they said it. And slowly, he began to speak more, with confidence, with clarity. One day, his children's teacher invited him to a parent meeting. Ahmed was able to participate. He asked questions, he shared ideas, and he understood everything. After the meeting, his wife looked at him and said, "You've come so far." But Ahmed didn't stop there. He started listening to podcasts on his way to work. He chose simple ones at first, then longer ones. Soon, he could follow full conversations even with fast speech, and something amazing happened. His coworkers started asking him for help. He was no longer the quiet guy in the corner. He became part of the team, and it all started with one thing: listening. Now, let's take a moment to review some useful vocabulary from Ahmed's story. First, assist. To assist means to help. The bank clerk said, "How can I assist you today?" Next, transaction. This is an action related to money, like withdrawing cash or opening an account. Ahmed asked about transaction fees. Then, repeat, to say something again. Ahmed often asked, "Could you repeat that, please?" Restate. To restate something means to say it again in different words. He used this to check if he understood correctly. Tone of voice. This means the way someone says something, not just the words but how they sound. Is it kind, serious, friendly? Ahmed listened to the tone to understand better. So, what can we learn from Ahmed? You don't need perfect grammar to understand people. You don't need to speak all the time. You just need to listen. Carefully, patiently, and with curiosity. And the more you listen, the more your brain learns the rhythm of English, the words, the expressions, the way people really speak. You learn faster, you speak more clearly, you feel more confident, and you start to connect, not just with the language, but with the people around you. Before we finish today, I have a message just for you. If you've been enjoying these stories, and if you want to keep improving your listening and speaking skills, keep listening to Learn and Talk English. We create these episodes for you, to help you practice real English, to feel inspired, and to learn at your own pace. So please, like this episode, share it with your friends, and follow the podcast so you never miss a new lesson. And if you want to support this show, leave a quick review. It helps us reach more English learners just like you. You're doing great. Keep going. And remember, the more you listen, the better you speak. I'm Maria, and I'll see you in the next episode of Learn and Talk English. Take care, and happy listening.